This video, I'm going to show you guys how to make your business run without you so you can do whatever you want with your life and make a boatload of money in the process. Now, about a year ago, I was a solopreneur. I was the only one working in the business. I had to work 8 to 12 hours a day just to keep it afloat. And as a result, I wasn't even making that much money. Fast forward to today, by following the process that I'm going to share with you in detail today, I've been able to build a team of 14 killers, which I'll introduce to you in a sec. I've been able to 3x the amount of money that I make every single month, and I don't even have to work nearly as much as I did back then. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys exactly how to outsource, automate, and hire out your agency so you can do whatever you want with your life and make more money than you are right now. All right, so real quick, let me just show you some proof here. So this is our company Slack, and I'm going to show you guys the 14 guys that we have on our team so you can see the quality and the level of talent that we're able to bring into our ecosystem by following this process. So these are the 14 people on our team. We got Alex Newman, who scaled an agency to 25K a month and then left it to come work on our product division. We got Alex Shaw, who's an absolute savage of a setter, who is currently closing 40% of the people that he sets. Daniel, who's been with us since day one, is an absolute savage closer. We got me. We got Eric, who's currently running a multi-six-figure agency, but also wants to help us out to service our clients as well. We got Jose Manuel, who left a super high ticket online sales job to come and work for us and has been excellent ever since he did. Josh Hamilton, who is an outbound specialist, an automation specialist, who's been able to help set thousands and thousands of appointments, both for us and our partners as well. We got Max Beverly, who's one of the hardest working and most dialed setters that I've ever met. He'll set 50 to 60 appointments in a single week. We got Mike, who's managed over tens of millions of dollars on Google and Facebook ads. We got Noah, who's made millions of dollars online, built his own agency to multi-seven figures, and then left everything to partner up with me here at Catalyst Holdings. We got Rayon, who scaled his own agency with us from $3,000 to $67,000 per month, and now is on our team every single day to help our clients do the exact same thing. We got Sebastian, who's been with us since day one and on average brings in $50,000 to $100,000 in new cash collected every single month. We got Thuda, who's one of the most dialed accountability specialists that I've ever met. He's literally in Slack from the time he wakes up till as soon as he goes to bed. And we got Tom, who's been helping me put together these YouTube videos to grow my channel from when I just started to the 17,000 subscribers that I have at the recording of this video. So now that you can see how powerful this hiring framework is, I'm going to break it down for you in simple steps so you can follow and implement it and achieve the same results for your company as well. But before we get into breaking this down, I need to explain to you guys the cost of making the wrong hire, because if you don't follow this process, it can be an absolute nightmare for you and your team. Now, the reason why is because, well, for example, one time before I actually fully understood how this hiring process worked, I hired somebody who they had a decent track record. They seemed like they were well spoken. They seemed like they know what to do. Then after I hired them, after about a month or 2 months, I realized that they actually weren't a fit. They were kind of just putting on a bit of a show to get the job. They wanted to work here. And as a result, I had to let them go 2 months later. Now, you might think, oh, well, that's not that big of a deal. But let me think about this, right? I was paying them about $4,000 to $5,000 per month. So we'll call it $9,000 total, which that $9,000 total will not be reinvested back into the business, because everything that I taught them and everything that they learned from us is now going to help another company grow. In addition to that, I spent 2 months with them training every single day that I could have put towards our marketing. I could have put towards our product. I could have put towards investing into a team member that was going to be with us for a very long time. So as a result of making the wrong hire, it cost me $9,000 and 2 months of my time, which is a crucial and critical loss if you're trying to grow your company. So in order to avoid doing that, here is the 3-step hiring framework. All right, so in order to build a world-class team, there's only 3 things that we need to do. The first thing that we need to do is hire the right person. Then we need to train them. And then we need to motivate them. Now, that might seem elementary, that might seem basic, but if you have a team member that isn't performing, it is because you didn't hire the right person, which was your fault because you hired them. It is because you didn't train them, and that's also your fault because you didn't train them properly. Or it is because you didn't motivate them. And that again is also your fault because you are the one that is responsible for motivating them. So every single time we have somebody on our team that isn't performing and that isn't the right person, it is our own fault. And it is because we didn't do one of these three things. Now, in this 3-step hiring process, all we essentially do is guarantee that we hire the right person, we train them effectively, and we keep them motivated so they're continually performing month over month over month over month. So let me break down the hiring process, and then we'll get into the training process, and then at last we'll get into the motivation aspect of it. All right, so when it comes to hiring, the first thing that we need to do is generate demand. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that people make is that they don't generate demand to hire the same way that they would generate demand to get clients. But we have to understand that we are going for our ideal team members, and our ideal team members are probably smart. They're probably hardworking. They probably have all the characteristics of somebody who is successful or soon to be successful. And as a result, they can work for pretty much whatever company they want to, right? So it's not good enough to just say, hey, come work for us. We'll pay you $20 an hour. We need to sell the position. We need to sell the vision of the company. We need to sell as to why they should come work for us as opposed to every other agency and every other business that they could potentially work for. So when it comes to generating demand, there's no one specific job posting platform that I found to be better than the other. And because of that, I'll typically use all of them. So LinkedIn, Upwork, Fiverr, your own social media, your own email list, whatever that case may be, wherever you could potentially find a candidate to work for you, I will typically do a massive job blast on all the different platforms. But the key thing is that we're not just saying, hey, come work for us. Like I said earlier, we're creating our own sales asset, our own sales letter as to why they should come work for our company. We want to talk about the culture. We want to talk about the benefits. We want to talk about everything that is good about working for this company and why they'll enjoy it and while they'll enjoy working for your company more than another company. So let's say we put out all our job postings and we generate demand. And now we have all these people that want to work for us, right? That have expressed interest in working for us. Okay. Now, the next step is to have some form of an application. Now, here is where the 3-step hiring process begins to really work. Because when it comes to your application, it's not just about, what have you done in the past and why do you want to work for this company? Those basic questions will lead to basic employees, and as a result, you'll be stuck on the hiring and firing hamster treadmill. So what we'll do is we'll identify the key character traits that it takes for somebody to succeed in the role that we're hiring. So let's say, for example, we're hiring for a sales position, and we've identified that coachability, relentlessness, intelligence, past experience, character are the key traits for somebody to succeed in this role. So in this case, we know that if we find somebody that's really coachable, extremely relentless, very intelligent, has a ton of past experience, and has a really good character, they are going to succeed in this role. These would be the 5 character traits that we would keep in mind as we're going through our hiring process. Now, the first step with that application funnel is we want to ask them 5 questions on that application. Yes, we want to get their contact information, where they're from, et cetera, et cetera. But then beyond that, we want to ask 5 specific questions where each one of these questions relate to one of these key character traits. So for an example, it could be, what is one thing that you've learned about your position in the last 30 days? Relentlessness. What would you do in this situation? Intelligence. How would you go about XYZ situation? Past experience. Tell me about who you've worked with from the past and what were your numbers. And character. What is your story? Right? These are 5 questions that we could put on that initial application to begin gauging, do these people have the character traits to succeed in this role? And so once from there, we send all these people to that form, right? So it's a simple form like this with our 5 questions. And then all these people will go in here and they'll answer these questions. Then what we'll do is for each individual one, we'll rate them out of 5, right? So let's say this guy, for example, he was very coachable, but his relentlessness was a 2, and then his intelligence was a 1, his past experience was a 1, but his character was a 4, right? Then what we'll do, after we've had, maybe 50, 100 people that have all filled out this form, we'll simply cut off the bottom 50 to 60%, right? So we'll go through, and once we've just kind of like sports tryouts, we've rated each individual applicant based on these 5 experiences. Then we'll cut out let's say these guys, and now we're just left with 2 of them, right? Then from there, we'll get into the next phase of the hiring funnel, which is the actual interview phase, right? So now we've gone through the form and we've cut out these guys and we only have 2 guys left, right? So what we'll do is we'll schedule an interview with these 2 guys here. And then what will happen is on that interview, we'll ask them about 15 different questions, right? And on those 15 different questions, each one of the questions, we'll do 3 for each one, will relate back to a coachability, a relentlessness, an intelligent, a past experience, and a character, right? So let's say we go through this guy again and he comes and he sits on the interview with us. And then we find out that he actually is pretty relentless, right? He's very relentless actually. So maybe we'll readjust his score for there. And turns out he is more intelligent than we thought he was, right? His past experience, he doesn't have that yet, but his character completely checks out, right? And then we would do the same for this guy as well. Then once we've gone through the second round, right, again, we'll cut out maybe 50% of the people that don't make the top. We'll just go through and see who are our 50% highest rated people, and then we'll cut out the rest. Then the third stage of the hiring process is to do some form of real experience. So in a sales position, that could be a hot seat where you do a live role play or you do a live cold call. In a creative position, that could be sending them sample work. And then one more time, right after you've gone through and see what they're actually like in their role, you again go through and you re-rate them on their coachability, relentlessness, intelligence, past experience, and character. And then what happens is once you've gotten to the end of it, you don't need to guess which one is the best hire. You don't need to make an assumption, oh, I think I have a gut feel. You get to leave all of that out and you just simply hire the people that you've rated the highest after they've gone through the 3-step hiring process, right? Because when you do this, right, you're leaving out all of the guesswork and you're simply just hiring the people that doesn't matter. You got to see them on multiple days. You got to see them in multiple forms that have the highest rating and are the most coachable, are the most relentless, are the most intelligent, have the best past experience, and have the most character. And as a result, if they have all of that, if you have a 5 out of 5 on all of these 5 things, they're going to be an outstanding employee. Okay. So that is how you make sure that you hire the right person. Now, when it comes to the actual training aspect of it, right? Like now that we've hired the right person, we need to make sure that they're trained up or they won't succeed. And once again, it'll be our fault. So how do we go about making sure that they're trained up? Well, we typically like to follow a 2-week training protocol. Now, how this 2-week training protocol will look is broken down as such. So the first 3 days will be simply training, right? DIY training. And that will be having them review past calls, having them go through course content, right? Like if you have any form of course content or, maybe it's you're in a specific niche, making sure that they go through the training to fully understand what is going on in their niche, right? Now, once they've done 3 days of that, and you're going to want to have some sort of a quiz at the end of it to make sure that they fully understand everything. For example, one of the things that we'll have our new employees go through is all of the content that we put out to make sure that they fully understand who our customer is and where they're trying to go and how we help them get them there, right? So once they, for example, in my case, watch 10 to 15 hours of my YouTube content, we know that they have a good enough understanding to move on to the next phase of the training process, right? Now, the next 3 days or so is going to be shadowing, right? So this could be them sitting on calls while you cold call, or them sitting on calls while, other people on your team cold call. Or this could be them sitting on a screen share with you as you edit a video. Whatever the role may be, the point is that they are sitting on the call with you as you are doing the work so they can watch it happen live. Now, the third phase of it, and this is going to be for the entire next week, so we'll do 7 days, is a reverse shadow, where essentially they're going to be doing the work. They're going to be making the calls. They're going to be sitting on sales calls. They're going to be editing the videos, and you are going to sit with them and serve as a lifeline in the process, right? So maybe they're in ads manager and they're going to be the one managing the ads, but if they have any questions about how to do something specific, you are there to answer that question immediately. Now, let's break this down from the beginning. So first, we've gone through and we generated a whole bunch of demand and we got like 50 to 60 applicants. Then we brought them through our application, our interview, and our role play / hot seat / example work session. And we simply chose the highest rated person. So out of the 50 to 60 applications we got, we hired the best possible person that is in alignment with the core values that we're looking for and in alignment with our company. Now that we've brought them in, they've gone through 10 to 15 hours of training to make sure that they fully understand the industry, fully understand the niche, and fully understand what you do to get such good results for your company. Then they've spent 3 days watching you every step that you've made to be able to deliver those results, to make those calls, to edit those videos, or whatever that case may be. Then they've spent another 7 days going through and doing the work themselves with you there every single day, quote unquote, breathing down their neck to make sure that they're doing things properly. At this point, you have hired the right person and they are trained up. And if this seems like a lot of work, it is. And that's why most people don't do it. And that's why most people are constantly hiring and firing new people. Their businesses stay in plateau. They constantly remain as the smartest person in the business. Every single person below them is dumber than them. And as a result, their company only grows as fast as they grow as a human being, which takes so much longer to grow than if you follow this process. Now, the third step is to make sure that they're actually motivated. So how do we go about motivating somebody? Well, here's the thing, and this is what most people don't understand when it comes to motivating an employee. Most entrepreneurs think that if they just pay their employee $25 an hour, they'll shut the fuck up and they won't bother them and they'll be motivated because they should be grateful for it. Well, hate to break it to you, but that's not how people think. And even if that $25 an hour is a lot to them in the beginning, once they've become accustomed to that, they'll begin to lose motivation and their problem, and you'll begin to struggle with them as the founder. So in order to motivate our employees, here's the first thing that we have to understand. Our employee is right here. They want to get to right here. And our company has to serve as the bridge to get them there. Now, they are right here right now. The first step is to figure out where this is for them. Now, for some employees, that might be they want to be the CEO of their own company. For some, it might be they want to make an extra $3,000 a month so they can stay home and take their kids to school. So the first step in motivating an employee is having a one-on-one conversation with them. And it doesn't matter if they're a VA or your new CEO, to figure out what their personal goals are, what they personally want to do, what will make them personally fulfilled. Then once you've understood where they are and where they want to be, whether that be financially, whether that be impact-wise, whether that be lifestyle-wise, our simple goal as an entrepreneur is to bridge the gap and to sell the vision to them, where if they perform in XYZ fashion, if they accomplish X within the company, they will get to achieve their mission. They will get to achieve their goals, right? So for an example of this is, let's say you brought on a web designer who wants to, become their own CEO one day. This is just a random example that I made up. Well, what I would do in this case is I would be like, awesome. Well, here's how I'll allow you to do that, right? So obviously you'll come in, you'll web design for, us and our clients as well. But what I'll do, given that that's your long-time goals, I'll actually allow you to sit on some of our executive meetings so you can see how we are running the company, so you can learn from us, so you can be able to take those skills and to build your own company long-term. However, I'm only going to let you do that so long as you hit XYZ KPIs, because that should be your number one priority. But if you can continuously hit these KPIs, I'll take you under my wing and I'll show you guys how we built this company so you are able to acquire these skills, you're able to learn from us, and you're able to achieve your life's mission, right? Now, think about how much more motivated the web designer would be if that was how they understood. And if they weren't web designing for the sake of web designing so they could get paid whatever they were getting paid, but they were web designing and they were doing a really good job of web designing so they could continue to learn. And it was kind of like paying for free education to learning how to build a 7-figure company. Think about the difference in output that you would get, given that you've already hired the right person and you've trained them and motivated them and you trained them up right? So think about how much more motivated they would be and how much better that they would perform. Now, in order to maintain this motivation, we do a couple things. The first thing that we'll do is we'll host team-wide meetings, right? So those 14 guys that I shared with you earlier in this video, in about 25 minutes, I'm jumping on a call with all 14 of them where we're going to go over what's been happening in the company. The people on the back end team are going to ask questions of the front end team and vice versa. We're going to share new company updates and things that we're working on overall so people feel like they're a part of something bigger. One of the easiest ways to demotivate somebody is to isolate them. and to feel like they're just doing their job for the sake of doing their job. But if they can buy into something bigger, if they can buy into a mission, if they can buy into something that's bigger than themselves, they are inherently going to be more motivated. The second thing is to have one-on-one calls with each and every single employee in your business every single week for 15 to 20 minutes to overcome any personal challenges. Now, this could be helping them out with things that are going on in their personal life, helping them make their workflow easier, helping them optimize their schedule, helping them optimize their diet. The amount of times that I jump on with employees and I just simply have them help them out with workout and sleep so they feel better every single day, so they're more productive. And as a result, when they're losing 20 pounds or gaining 20 pounds of muscle, how grateful they are to be a part of this company, which in return motivates them to want to continue working here and to want to continue to stay with us for long periods of time, happens regularly. Right? But you don't understand that. And you're not able to provide that kind of value to your employees if you don't meet with them one-on-one. So that's the second thing that we do in order to make sure that people are motivated, and also constantly realigning them with new growth targets and where they are versus where they want to be, and continuously selling the vision of what they need to do in order to get there. So that is the 3-step hiring process that we use to hire the right person, train them up effectively, and motivate them so they continuously perform month over month over month. And that is how I went from being literally by myself, the only person working in the company, working 8 to 12 hours a day just to keep it afloat, making like not that much money, to 3xing the amount I take home every single month while working less in the same process. Now, if you enjoyed this video, thank you. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment below if you have any additional questions. I'll personally jump in there and respond to your comments. Wish you guys the absolute best with your business, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.